Hi, welcome to Youth Renaissance Conversations on the Greenwood Project, where we've been talking about redlining, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Black Wall Street, financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and community design. So I am TC Lewis.
I am Maisha Boyd.
And we're here with some very interesting, intellectual, dynamic youth voices. Let's go around and tell our audience who we are. So we'll start with you, Quincy.
Hello, I am Quincy Reese Williams. I am 14. I go to Garfield Heights High School, and I'm ready for school to start back up. So,
My name is Cameron Dixon. I'm 15 years old. I will be going to 10th grade at Garfield Heights High School, and I'm also waiting for school to start back up.
Mari.
Oh, my bad. Hey, how's it going? My name is Kamari Howard. I am 17. I will be entering the 11th grade at Garfield Heights High School, and I work at Taco Bell.
My name is Danielle Ballard. I'm 14, and I'm going on to 9th grade at Garfield Heights High School.
All right, so we've been, like I said, talking about a number of topics, all kind of centered around Greenwood, Black Wall Street, redlining, a bunch of different things. So we're going to throw some quick things at you, see, what you remember from what we've been talking about. So first up is, do you believe Black Americans should get reparations?
Am I answering that first?
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. Yes. Like from slavery and then segregation and then now police brutality, we have suffered like oppression after oppression. And it's getting worse. At least I think it's getting worse progressively with COVID and social media. I feel like people have gotten more bold in a sense. And so people just started caring less about others' feelings. Racism is at kind of like an all-time high, at least in my opinion. And so it's like, Black people have suffered a lot, and reparations is the least the United States could do.
Personally, I think Black people should and should not get reparations. The reason why I say yes and no is because, yes, we do deserve money for what happened to us and what we had to go through. But I say no because there's people like who think they're in the hood, they need a gun, they want to shoot everybody, and like that's not a good thing. Like, it's nothing wrong with having a gun. But, like, it's about how you use the gun. You got to be smart about what you buy and how you do stuff and how you operate. And it's the way other people teach them.
So you think that with the money, if they did give us reparations, you think that most people would use their money to buy, like, weapons or drugs or whatever? That's what you're saying?
Well, I wouldn't say most people, but yes.
I would still have
valid.
to say that Caucasian people or any other race just as easily do that. It's just not as recognized because they're not Black.
No, it is recognized. It's just
Not as recognized, though. Not as anything big or bad. Sure, some of their reputations may be a little hurt, but imagine if a Black rapper was discovered, let's say, buying drugs in public. That would have hurt him way worse than it would a white person.
we've shown that we are not responsible with money, so,
that is also true.
they think, if we give them this, they're going to do this with it, so they say no.
General stereotypes.
A couple people ruined it for the rest of us. That's all I got to say.
So we talked a little bit about Greenwood, Oklahoma. If one of you can tell me, what is Black Wall Street?
Anyway, Black Wall Street was a thriving community in Oklahoma. It was nothing but African Americans. They had their own schools, businesses, hospitals, doctors, dentists, almost anything you could imagine. And I can only imagine that it was beautiful. Unfortunately, Tulsa Massacre, I guess it was a situation where a white woman had accused a Black man of attacking her or something. Mm-hmm. And so a group of white people came and just destroyed the city. If I'm correct, it lasted for 3 days?
It was 2 days, I believe. Mm-hmm.
Do you think those attitudes are still the same today about Black people?
Very much.
I wouldn't say as aggressively, but as it goes within the law of things, it is pretty bad.
I agree with Danielle on that one.
And, I feel like police brutality has been the same almost. They treat us very like I don't know. They don't have the same respect for us as they do, you know, them. So it's just
I
messed
remember
up.
How do you? We learned about civic engagement. Can one of you remind us? I'll say Cameron. Remind us what civic engagement is all about.
Civic engagement is about like the community coming together to like speak on a topic or topics and like how you should deal with some stuff. Like some people want a neighborhood watch, you know, people would talk about it, like get in the meeting and talk about it and like discuss different points of it. And then at the end, I guess they got it or not. So
gotta say, civic engagement can also just be even less than a group. Well, that is a way that you can do things, but by getting in a group, that's great support and things. But it can also happen individually and still have just as big of an impact and influence on people if you really put your heart really into it.
I was gonna say voting is a big thing. Right now we have the congressional vote, and I had actually seen like the ad for it, kind of like on my dining room table when I went home the other day, and I tried to get my parents like, "Hey, y'all gonna vote? Like, look what." It was like Nina Turner, I believe that's what it was for. And like, hey, y'all gonna vote? She got this and this going for her. And like, I don't know if I convinced them, but it's like if we voted more and didn't just do it every presidential election, I feel like a lot of positive changes could be made if we were more active in elections. Because like, a lot of people know that like congressional elections, those are every 2 years. I think like mayors and judges, those are more often as well, but people usually just vote in the presidential because that's what they believe, you know, is the most big important ones. But in all honesty, all the president does is just sign the papers or decide not to. So
Right.
Why do you think it's so hard for our communities to collaborate in our businesses? Why do you think you don't see a lot of collaborations between African American businesses and in our communities?
Because not many are willing.
We, like I said, we find a way to ruin stuff every time. So
For those who do try to help, we do help our neighbors. We have multiple different friends. That's a fact that we always lean on, and in turn, we do the same for them if they need us. But as a community, it's hard to trust something that, especially if it was hurt. You know what I mean?
Well, people typically don't destroy things that they find value in, whether it's property or even our own human lives.
But the thing is, most people don't find value in anything that hasn't worked for centuries.
Kamari?
yeah, I just want to input on it. I feel like it's more of like a pride thing because I was actually thinking about this like after I said something about collaboration. But one thing I think is pride. You know, people, you don't want others, you know, take credit for what they may or may have not created or built up. I also think another thing is, I don't know if anybody else agrees with this, but I feel like we've kind of gotten used to our oppression and we use it to our advantage. Like we stay using that as an excuse in a way, like, oh, you know, this happened to me. This is what they did to us in the past. Blah, blah, blah. This is why I can't do this now. This is why we're suffering now. And it's like we're kind of using it as a crutch for...
I have a question to play off of what y'all been talking about. So remember in our redlining module, we watched a video. And I want your opinion on this statement. In the video, the lady said, the hood was meant to be the hood. The projects were meant to be the projects. They built the hood and they built the projects for minorities. It was not, oh, minorities we made this ghetto. We made this the hood. So how do y'all feel about this poverty area being meant to be an area of poverty? Like, this is what they designed it for. How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, in other words, she just said that they set us up to fail for real.
yeah,
Like,
It's one thing to believe a stereotype or try to or even voice it, but it's another to ingrain that stereotype in someone. So then,
to practically create it. Like,
thank you.
right.
they set us up. They didn't get us a chance to try and have us become something of ourselves to build our, like, look what happened to Greenwood. Couldn't even have our own communities, is getting destroyed. So it's like, y'all took away the finish line before we even had a chance to reach it.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys, I have really enjoyed this conversation here with members of the Youth Renaissance. Why don't you go ahead around and tell us your names one more time?
Kamari Howard.
Danielle Ballard.
Quincy Reese Williams.
Cameron Dixon.
Thank you. And I'm TC.
And I'm Mashe, and that is our podcast.
Right.
Stop
You guys did amazing. Oh my gosh. Y'all had me swallow. Y'all actually was listening to us and learning.
What you think I was gonna do?